hello there, everybody. It's your host Paradox Maria, guys, and this is right here, guys. This is right here, everybody. The 7th episode of Para React, everybody. In the past 6 episodes, guys, we reacted. Actually, this is actually the 8th episode, guys. It's because right here, everybody, we reacted to 7 videos, to 7 episodes right now, guys. We reacted to Grim Story Show. You all know the rest, guys. And this is right here. For this episode, we're gonna have something very much more calmer than the last episode, because the last episode, everybody, was so crazy. As in, you remember Epic Mealtime? They literally made crazy creations of known food, guys. But this time it's a bit more calmer, guys. Even more calmer than usual. As in this one, guys, you may not know him, you may know him, you may not know him, but we're gonna react to Binging With Babish, everybody, the one and only one, guys. And this time he's here, and this time, as you can see right here, he looks like he's gonna recreate a sandwich called the Ripwich, guys, which is from The Simpsons, everybody. So anyways, guys, here goes the video. And also one thing to keep in mind, guys, is his creations are much more common than Epic Mealtime, guys.
One Ripwich, please. Now without lettuce.
Oh my guys.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Binging with Babish, where this week we're taking a look at the curious case of the Ripwich, a rib sandwich whose contents do not include ribs. So right off the bat, we are breaking the rules by making a dry rub for our ribs.
You're probably wondering what I mean by dry rub, guys. Well, basically, if you make like anything with barbecue related, guys, if you made like ribs, guys, or any type of barbecue meat, guys, rubs are like ways to add flavor to your meat, guys. If you're planning to make a barbecue, guys. Oh yeah, and usually it has some sweet, some spicy elements to it, guys. So it's like a compound.
Starting with about a cup of dark brown sugar, a tablespoon of chili powder, a teaspoon of dry mustard, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a teaspoon of smoked Spanish paprika, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a good shake of normal paprika, because why not? Then, just like any dry rub, we gotta season with kosher salt and freshly ground pepper, about 2 teaspoons each worth. Tiny whisk together to the best of your ability, and be sure to taste for seasoning. Remember, if your dry rub doesn't taste good, you won't taste good. Oops, sorry you had to see that. Now we're on to the wet rub, I guess you'd call it. A heady mixture of about 4 parts yellow mustard to 1 part ketchup, and maybe like 1 part liquid smoke. I know all the barbecue aficionados are shaking their heads at me, but we're trying to solve the riddle for oven ribs that we're just going to make into a sandwich anyway. Save your energy for summer. Speaking of ribs, the first thing we have to do with our ribs is rip off the paper.
Also, one thing, guys, is this is the most important step, guys, if you want to make ribs, guys. I'm sorry to all my Muslim viewers, guys, but using pork ribs, guys. I'm so sorry for my Muslim viewers who always have to see that. You can also make it with beef as well, but this is the most important step. You have to remove the membrane, guys. So it's because the membrane, because if you don't remove the membrane, the rub won't stick to the meat itself.
Membrane on the back of every rib. Paper towels make it very easy to grip your membrane, which sounds like a dirty saying, but it's not. Then we're brushing down every surface with our mustard, ketchup, liquid smoke mixture, and then using that as a kind of...
And also one thing, guys, if you're probably wondering why Perry, why is he adding mustard to the ribs? Well, one thing, guys, if he's adding mustard, when he adds the mustard to the ribs, guys, it's not there for any flavor. It's act as a binder to, it acts as a binder for his seasoning to stick, i.e. his dry rub right there.
Glue for our dry rub. We're starting with the bottoms of our ribs and then repeating on the top. At this point, your house should smell thoroughly like barbecue. If it doesn't, I would check your spices' expiration dates. Anyway, we're stacking these ribs high and then wrapping them in the strategically placed plastic wrap that we put on the table, and then we are refrigerating for at least 8 hours and up to 24. An entire day later, and we're going to unwrap our ribs and place them onto a rimmed baking sheet, and then we're going to put that in the freezer because we're going to place them in a very hot oven. This method comes courtesy of American America's test kitchen. The key step of which is to smoke the ribs using lapsang tea, which is very clever because it has its own inherent smokiness. So we're going to spread out 6 bags worth of lapsang tea on our other rim baking sheet that we're going to put a rack inside of. And then I'm going to make a big old aluminum foil top by merging 2 sheets together at the seam, like so. Do not want any smoke getting out. Speaking of which, here come our ribs. After their 45-minute stint in the freezer, during which time our oven has also been preheating to 500 degrees Fahrenheit with a pizza stone inside to make sure that all that heat is getting transferred up into the tea. Once our parcel is tightly packaged, we're placing in the 500 degree oven for 30 minutes, and then removing, lowering the heat to 250 degrees Fahrenheit, and pouring a beer into the corner of our baking sheet.
Also, one thing, guys, before running, why he's adding beer, guys? Well, he's adding beer, guys, is because for the first time, since he, this guy does have a smoker, but the thing is that, he kind of really used it because he lives in an apartment. He's braising the ribs, as in, like, he's making them soft, guys, so they can, so that when you bite into them, it's like soft, like, so it just falls off the bone, guys.
Going to steam the ribs and help them become very, very tender over the next hour and a half that they're going to spend in this 250 degree Fahrenheit oven. Now, during the last 30 minutes of cooking, we're going to make a quick and simple barbecue sauce, starting with half a grated onion and 3 cloves of crushed garlic. These are the aromatics that we're going to saute in a small saucepan, along with a little squirt of vegetable oil over medium heat for about 2 or 3 minutes until everybody gets soft and smelly in a good way. Then we're adding about a tablespoon's worth of chili powder, letting that toast for another 30 seconds or so, and then adding a cup of ketchup, along with 2 to 3 tablespoons of blackstrap molasses.
And also one thing, guys, if you're powdering what molasses is, guys, well, it's this extract from the sugar business, and guess what? Brown sugar, you can make it easily. It's just white sugar with molasses, and you mix it all together and results into dark sugar.
Both sweetness and color, 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, about a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, a little tiny shake of cayenne pepper, about 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, and that's just about it. Then we're going to tiny whisk all these guys together, cover, and simmer for 20 minutes. Then we're just going to keep this guy warm until the ribs are ready to go, which they are. For this application, what we're looking for is for the bone to be able to twist with little resistance, even though it's still attached to the meat. But we still got one step left here, and that is the second coat of paint. Starting with the underside of the ribs, we're going to generously coat them.
Also, guys, what I meant by paint, guys, as well, is the barbecue sauce he just created, guys.
With our freshly made barbecue sauce, and then throw them under the broiler for 5 to 7 minutes until browned and crisp. We're then going to turn these meat side upward and repeat, lovingly slathering with barbecue sauce and placing under the broiler for 5 to 7 minutes until browned and crisp. You can keep repeating this if you like, but I'm going to stop here because, dare I say, it's sandwich time. My plan was to just pull the bones out and make sort of boneless rib patties, but these ribs weren't quite meaty enough and they ended up falling apart. But I think that's good.
Of course, as in like, he does have a point, because you tenderize, it's because you braise the ribs, guys, to make it tender, but and that results in that it just falls apart, guys.
Make for a damn fine sandwich. The Ripwich might not have lettuce on it, but if it's modeled after the McRib, that means thinly sliced white onion and dill pickles.
I'm probably wondering, when you saw that McRib, guys, I think it might be related to that, but you know, when I meant by the Ripwich, I meant it might be inspired of McDonald's McRib, guys, and that's a sandwich McDonald's made, guys, but the thing is that it's in America, though, that means you have to travel there, you cannot find it anywhere else.
Top a squishy, pillowy submarine roll. Let's arrange some nice boneless ribs on top, give it a nice second coat with barbecue sauce, and then lovingly arrange some onions and pickles over top. It was at this point that I realized I'm not making the food from the show. I'm making a tribute to the food from the show, and sometimes that's okay. In this instance, I wanted to recreate...
It is fun if you're paying tribute to the show. It means you're showing your gratitude, guys.
The pupil dilating, blood pressure pumping, borderline illegal nature of the Ripwich. And I gotta say, in that spirit, this is a pretty close approximation. It was also an opportunity to take a look at oven ribs, a challenge faced by anyone who gave up mowing their lawn in favor of living in an apartment. And there's definitely some great technique to take away here, enough to get half the sandwich in the clean half sandwich club. Hang on, I gotta take this half in the other room for analysis.
And that right here, guys, is the finished process, guys. So yeah, I agree with what he said. He's paying homage to the show. He's not he's not being accurate on what it is, guys. But he is paying homage to that thing. He's recreating the sandwich, but with actual rib, guys. As in like yeah. So that you guys, this wraps up the first video, guys, and stay in the next episode, in the next video we're gonna react to, guys, is him which he makes a pizza in a cup, guys. So stay tuned to that, guys, after the break. Alrighty, everybody. Welcome back to the show, guys. If you just recently joined us, guys, well, in the first episode, guys, we reacted to Binging With Babish, guys, in which he made a recreation of the Ripwich, guys, as a sandwich from The Simpsons, guys. So, and this time he's gonna make a pizza in a cup, guys, which is from a TV show, apparently. So, anyways, guys, let's watch the video.
Hey baby, I hear the blues are calling, tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
That was really good pizza.
Oh, this is the best pizza in a cup ever. This guy's unbelievable. He ran the old cup of pizza guy out of business.
Really?
People come from all over to get this.
Hey, what's up, Reddit Food? I'm here to answer the question, what does the food from film and television actually taste like? My name is Oliver Babish, and today we're looking at the pizza in a cup from The Jerk. The first and most obvious solution to which is to put some pizza in a cup. So I got a pizza here. I'm going to get it into my cup by any...
Believe me, guys, this is honestly, guys, the worst idea to put a pizza in a cup, as in your mug would get messy, guys.
means necessary. Grab myself a fork and dig in. And I gotta say, we got a straggler here. Disaster. What I was gonna say was, I gotta say, this tastes an awful lot like pizza that's been shoved into a cup. I'm not sure if that was the procedure for the pizza in the cup place from the movie, but I do think that we can do better, starting with those microwave pizza in a mug things that I always knew that one day I would eat. We're combining 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/16 of a teaspoon of baking soda in a mug, whisking to combine, and then adding 3 tablespoons of whole milk and 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Again, whisking until it forms a paste, and then we're topping it with pizza sauce and mozzarella and some mini pepperonis that I'm fashioning out of regular-sized pepperonis and a paring knife. Then this guy's headed into the microwave for 1 minute and 20 seconds. Just enough time to turn it into a steaming ball of pizza-like matter.
Believe me, guys,
which I'm going to
that totally
take
looks
a big
unappealing,
spoonful
guys.
of, if I can get past this impossible cheese stretch. Come on, I don't have time for all this gooey cheesiness. There we go. And my first impression upon first bite wasn't bad, but this gooey amorphous blob of pizza dough at the bottom made me feel too post-apocalyptic. It's like a pizza designed by one of those AI chatbots that's forced to read about pizza for 1,000 hours. I thought that I could perhaps improve upon this recipe by doubling it up and placing it into a heavily oiled mug that I'm going to bake at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes until it's sort of golden brown a little bit. Top it with the requisite pizza trappings, let the cheese melt before I add the pepperoni, throw it back into the oven to crisp up, and it makes for a pretty good thumbnail. Something that makes your mind's eye wonder.
Believe me, guys, that truly makes a good thumbnail, guys, as you can see right there.
What would it be like to drink pizza out of a mug? But in reality, all I've made here is an unflavored cupcake with melted cheese and sauce on top. And
that is pretty much true. As in like cooking things in a mug, it's not really a good idea. As in, it would just taste bad, guys.
Yes, on paper, this is pizza in a cup, but I still think that we can do better. The very loose, batter-like dough reminded me of a very high hydration pizza bianca. In this recipe adapted from Serious Eats, I'm combining 500 grams of bread flour, 10 grams of kosher salt, and 2 heaping teaspoons of instant yeast in the bowl of a stand mixer. Then I'm combining 400 grams of tepid water and 40 grams of extra virgin olive oil, which I'm going to stream into the machine as it is running. This is going to form an extraordinarily sticky dough with a hydration of 80%. We're going to place this in a generously oiled bowl, which we're going to refrigerate overnight in the fridge to help develop its flavor. At least 18 hours, up to 72 if you got the time. Now to make this pizza bianca into pizza in a cup, I'm going to transform it into trapezzino, which is a recently invented hybrid between a pizza and a sandwich, and I think it qualifies. So as you can see, I'm making an Italian-American red sauce with meatballs and sausage, perfect fillings for our trapezzino. Click the link in the upper right-hand corner if you want to see how to make that. The next day, and our pizza bianca dough is out of the fridge, and we're going to develop its flavor by lifting and folding it on itself 6 times in a circle every 15 minutes for an hour and a half. Then we're turning it out onto a quarter-size rim baking sheet that we have rubbed down with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Flip it once to coat it all over with oil, and then using our fingers, we're going to try to press and spread it into the corners. Realize that we forgot our hairpiece, put it back on. Then we're going to cover loosely with greased plastic wrap, letting it rest at room temperature for 1 to 2 hours until it's grown and it's puffy and it's nearly twice its size. This is going to take different amounts of time depending on the temperature of your kitchen. Now we want to cut this before baking, and to do so we want to trace the outline of where we're going to cut using olive oil. This is going to make sure that our bench scraper doesn't stick when we cut it into 4 pieces. Then we're going to cover it with some flaky finishing salt and throw it into a preheated 550 degree Fahrenheit oven, turning one.
Believe me, everybody. You know the bread he's creating. It reminds me guys of an Italian bread which is called ciabatta, guys. Basically, it does kind of look like it, and like, you know, it's flat, and it's used and ciabatta is used in sandwiches, guys. As in that bread does kind of look like it.
Halfway through baking for about 12 to 15 minutes total until golden brown, dappled with bubbles and crisp. We're going to separate it into its intended 4 pieces, let it cool for about 15 minutes before slicing in half diagonally, placing a cut down the center along the side, and beginning to stuff it with fillings like mozzarella cheese. Have meatballs and sausage. And yes, I agree that this is basically a glorified focaccia sandwich. There's got to be some way we can get it closer to being a pizza in a cup. How about, I don't know, placing it in a cup? Mostly so it can be held stable while we top it with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, raise a toast, and dig in. Now, I know this one went a little bit off the rails. I know that this is not what you picture when you hear Steve Martin say pizza in a cup, but it is a portable, self-contained pizza sandwich vessel, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. If it were in a cup, it would be a member of the Clean Pizza in a Cup Club. And now, real quick, guys, I just want to raise a tiny whiskey, and toast to you for sticking with me for the past 5 years of Binging with Babish. It's been the most important and exciting 5 years of my life, and I cannot wait to see what comes next.
And that right here, everybody, and we'll stop it right there, everybody. So yeah, guys, the doubles Binging with Babish's pizza in a cup, guys. So yeah, guys, this has to be more calmer than the last episode because it literally involved epic mealtime where they made giant creations of their food, guys. Which honestly, guys, that'll be impossible to eat, guys. So anyway, guys, this wraps up today's episode, guys, and stay tuned for the next episode, guys. You Suck at Cooking up next. Anyways, guys, I'll see you to the next video.